Meantime, tech is getting trounced again, as you know, coming off the worst day since March of 2020. The pandemic, of course, the second worst sector this week after energy. Apple among the hardest hit, its market cap falling below $3 trillion this morning, which we mentioned with Jim. Joining us with his perspective on Apple in particular in the tech trade is Maxim Group's Tom Forte, has a 215 target and a hold on Apple. Tom, happy Friday. Good to see you.
Have me on.
Can you talk about their supply chain issues, how they've played this whole era politically, whether south of 200 is overdoing it or not?
Yeah, so I definitely think a 10% move, give or take, in Apple yesterday was an overreaction. So I think what we're saying tariffs, but what we really should be saying is trade negotiations. Trade negotiations have begun on a global scale. And when you look at the multinational US-based CEOs, Tim Cook and Elon Musk are really the two best positioned to negotiate between the government of the US and the government of China. So yes, Apple has an overweight. Too many of their products are made in China today. But I do think Tim Cook is wonderful, and he'll figure out a way to address this. And Apple's a premium brand. So maybe they can't fully offset the impact of the tariffs if they do happen by raising price, but they'll be less negatively impacted than others. So that move feels like an overreaction to me.
Right. Where do you think, where are you modeling ASP, average selling prices on a new iPhone? And
yeah, so I think
do you have an idea of what a fully domestic iPhone would look like?
I think you can assume that from a cost standpoint, it would be 10% more expensive. But again, I don't know that the end game or ultimate outcome here is a iPhone made in the US. It could be more products that Apple sells are made in the US, or it could be more products are made in India or in a different country where the potential end game tariff isn't as significant as it looks today.
I mean, why do you have faith that Tim Cook would get some sort of exemption or relief?
Yeah, Sarah, it's not that I have faith that I'll get an exemption or relief, but I think there's the possibility. So if you were to just have a short list of CEOs who Donald Trump will take their call when they call him, you know, Tim Cook is clearly on that list. So I think, again, I think the market is only looking at the negatives here. I'm not saying it's a guarantee. I'm saying it's a possibility, and the market appears to be overlooking that.
What about just the general economic outlook changing, as we were just talking about, being downgraded, more recession being priced in? I mean, ultimately, what does that typically look like for Apple?
Yeah. So what we found is that the iPhone in particular almost behaves like a consumer staple and not like a consumer discretionary item. So if we can set aside, you know, the notion of the AI upgrade cycle and things of that nature, generally speaking, Apple's iPhone, which is still its most significant product, the sales have held up well in recessionary periods.
So you're a buyer on the weakness. What would make you change your mind?
What would make me change my mind and get more cautious on Apple is seeing that the trade war between China and the U.S. Further softens their sales in China. So if you recall, they had a 10% decline in the December quarter. So on a near-term basis, you could see a lot more weakness in their sales to consumers in China. That's a high teen % of the sales. That would make me more nervous about the stock over the next 12 months.
Right. Yeah, we had a discussion, though, about their own employment exposure to Apple Assembly, and they don't want to upset too many apple carts, so to speak. Tom, thank you. Look forward to talking more. Tom Forte this morning.